Hi guys and welcome back to the channel. Today we are featuring a Hanhart. Now Hanhart, as we know, are mostly known for their chronograph watches, but they also do a more traditional kind of looking pilot's watch, and this comes today in the form of a Pioneer Preventor9, and I must say it has got a bit of heft to it, this one. Considering this is like a more entry-level watch, this one I think the price comes in at £1,290, but that's before any kind of discount, so you know it might be a good deal to be had, you never know. And it's got a real weight to it. It does feel like a really solid watch, especially with this kind of multi-link fine link bracelet on here. It definitely has a fair bit of heft to it, and it is very cool. But before I get too far into this review, I've got to say a massive thank you to the team over at First Class Watches of Kenilworth for allowing me to review this piece. Lots of cool, interesting brands like what we have here. Some brands you know, some brands you may not. So if you're in the Kenilworth area, I'd strongly recommend popping into the shop. If you're a bit further afield, well, don't worry, I'll leave a link in the description and at the bottom of the page now. All I ask, if you do contact them, please mention the channels. It would help. So let's talk sizes first. I'm measuring 40mm across. The thickness of the watch is coming in at 12.3mm. The lug to lug on this model is 48.5, and the bracelet on this is 20mm. Now, the dial has got a very kind of vintage look to it, especially with this sub-dial we have over here at the 9 o'clock position. It has this kind of more like a matte satin finished to the actual dial, but the sub-dial has this more glossy look to it, and it kind of breaks it up quite nicely, I think. You have this kind of off-white lume, which gives it a more vintage feel, and especially with these bead blasted hands, cathedral hands, they do give it a real kind of vintage look. And I like the fact that we just have minimal text on this. Hanhart 1882, a brand with lots of history after all, and automatic down the bottom there. And that, I think, is truly all you need. When it actually comes to these hour markers and the hands, there is a decent amount of lume, it has to be said. It does look quite nice, and when it's glowing. And you can see here, it is stepped down. You've got the chapter ring there, and then it comes down to this printed on dial. Overall, I think it suits the watch really, really well. As we come past that, we are greeted with an ever so slightly domed sapphire crystal. It does feature AR. It's on the inside only. To some people, that is absolutely, they love it because there's no way to scratch it on the outside. But overall, it does, it does a pretty reasonable job. You get a certain amount of reflection, but not that much, to be fair. It is pretty good, especially considering it is domed. Now, the case of the watch. It's got this kind of quite a nice curve to it. It really does feel substantial. As you can see, the bezel is a concave bezel, which is quite unusual there. And then you have this little polished ring at the base. Actually, that's on the case coming round. And it looks really quite cool. And then you just got these nice radial brushing going around there. It's all very soft and very kind of lovely to touch. No qualms there. Then we're greeted with the crown. The crown isn't a screw down crown, but you still get 100 meters of water resistance with this watch, and it is incredibly easy to manipulate being the size it is. As we pull it out, it goes straight into hacking mode. As you can see, the second hand does stop, and it is like quite okay to wind, actually. That's all right, no problems. As we turn it round, we've got a solid case back here. It's got quite an unusual system for unscrewing it, as you have the more male section on here, and I suppose you would just grab that and turn it from there. Underneath there, it gets a little bit more interesting. We do have a SW200 movement. I did put this on the time graph, and I believe it was pretty well round about 0, actually, so it was doing really well on the timekeeping. But to get the sub-seconds on there, what they've done is added a DD module. Now, what I mean by that is on certain chronographs, you tend to get a 2892 movement, or what's commonly known as an SW300. And you have two driving wheels which protrude from the movement and then lock on to a separate module which controls everything else. And they've done that with this. I'd love to take it apart and just have a look and see how they've done it. But I dare say there's going to be a single wheel, and in between two bridges there'll be the sub-seconds going on there and the hand controls. So I've not taken one apart, so I can't actually say, but it is quite an interesting way of doing it, really. DD modules are very, very thin. They're normally a pain in the neck to work on, though, if you do have to take them apart, because everything is sandwiched between two plates, and it does make it a little bit more awkward. But overall, I think this looks good. I should also point out it is available in different colours. Also, you can get a white dark. I think you can get a full PVD model, which would look quite interesting. And you don't have to have this bracelet if you don't like it. There are leather strap options available. But when it comes to the bracelet, it's really quite nice. You've got the two center polish links going on there, and the rest is brushed. As you can see, it is actually screws going through this. I'm not kidding. It's got some real heft to it, considering it's like more an entry-level watch. Fold over clasp, as you can see there. You've got the H on there. This is obviously protective tape on here. Now, you do have two pushers, as you can see. So, if I press the other one... Oh, does it actually release at the same time? I'm not sure there. Does it? No, it doesn't. I must have just caught it. You do have an extension piece on there. So let's see. How far can you go? You've got 1 click, 2 clicks. Nope, looks like just 2 clicks, but that should be... Can you press it in without? No, you can't. You have to press that. So you've still got a decent amount of space there. You can actually move it by. So, you know, it's okay. It's good in a pinch if you're out somewhere and suddenly your wrist may swell. That would work quite nicely. But overall, it is quite good. Let me do a wrist check so you can see how it looks on the wrist. Quick zoom out. I'm wearing a Zin. This is the very old now, discontinued 656 all black. This is in before the case hardening processes that Zin had. So, you know, this one probably will scratch up at some point. But I must say it's around about 15 or 17 years old already. And it's not looking too shabby, to be fair. Now, Bob, as we can see, has got the historic 417. This is my own watch. And I absolutely love this watch. I think it is super cool. But we are talking a big price difference between these two watches. That retails for around about £2,700 on the bracelet. And this one, as I say, the RRP is what, just under 1,300, but that I say before any discounts. My wrist size is 7¼ inches, so that equates to around about 18.5 centimeters. The bracelet size has got a good amount of kind of distance on there. You can fit a much larger wrist than mine, and that's it on my wrist. I think it looks really ever so cool. But yeah, but do be aware, it's got a fair old heft to it. I do like it. I think it looks a little bit different and cool. Let me know in the comments, guys, at that kind of £1,150 price mark, or give or take round about there, would this be the watch you would buy, or would you go for something maybe a little bit different? Let us know in the comments. All the best and stay safe out there. Bye.